Hey there, folks. Chris McLean back with yet another episode of the show. And in the studio today, I've got Hunter from Zarzy Media, who help service-based businesses, which are mostly detailers, since Hunter was one of them. He helps them hit their monthly business goals. Hunter,
Hey,
excited to
Chris.
hear
Thanks for
all
having me on
about...
today.
No, pleasure, mate. Excited to hear all about the business. And did you start the business because you were sort of a detailer and you saw the opportunity to mesh that with marketing? Had you done that in the past? How did the business come to be?
So actually, I think I have a somewhat unique way I started. So I started my own detailing business back in 2015, so about 6 years ago with a few buddies. And then I worked with that through college and everything. And I knew I love detailing. I love working with cars and everything. But my end goal in life was to be a business consultant. And so I knew in order to get there, the detailing wasn't really the way to go with that. So through college, I was kind of planning out what I wanted to do. And I'm sure you know of the whole have, do, be model, where you feel like you have
Yep.
to do decades of work in order to be this person you want to be. So then eventually I came across this one podcast. I'm sorry, I don't know who it was again. That was a while ago. But then I realized that you can be that person and eventually you can have that title of being a business consultant. So then I set my sights a couple of years ago. I wanted to be a business consultant. So I wrote that down and I was trying to looking for outlets on what I can do to get to that goal. So then I always done marketing. I've always done a little bit of advertising for business here and there. And then so last year I launched my agency to help service-based businesses. And then the biggest thing was I started out as broad as most agencies do. They start broad. I try to be like help everybody from e-com to dentists to anyone who we can really talk to. I tried helping everyone at first, and then everyone started talking like, "Man, you gotta niche down a little bit. You have to find your niche and like find your who you want to work with." So then I was sitting down for days and weeks and months trying to figure out like, man, who can I help? Like, who is it that I should be working with? And I felt so dumb. It just hit me like a eureka moment, like, you know, like there's things you see in movies. Like, I was a detailer for 6 years. I was detail business over 6 years. Why don't I just help with that? And then ever since that day it clicked, I've been working with them, and it's been going great so far.
Yeah. Yeah, super interesting. It tends to find out so that lightning bolt comes out of the blue, like, oh, damn it.
Yeah,
I knew that all along. But sometimes it takes doing the wrong thing to sort of stumble across the thing that's been in front of you the whole time.
exactly.
So did you find that because you'd done it in the past and you had the marketing expertise, you were able to really go, I understand the pain points, I understand the challenges, I get the frustrations, and now your marketing can really speak to that specific person and the challenges they're going through? Is that what you found when you found that spark? You said details is where it's at. Did the business become easier? The proposition and the offer become easier?
Absolutely, because when I'm talking to, let's say, a prospect or potential client, I was in their position at one point, so I know exactly where everything's going in their business. So it's easier to talk to them. I know what works. I've done it for years. Um, but yeah, it helps so much doing it before in the process, because you know everything that happens behind the scenes, and you know, like, there's such a big gap between marketers, what I've seen from marketers, and then business owners, and being able to bridge the gap between being the business owner and being the marketer and one definitely helps.
Yeah, so it's number one, you sort of understand the pain point and you can really get into. From a marketing perspective, that's brilliant because you can say the right things, you can message, you can set up the offers. So somebody who's a car detail is going to go, thank you. That's exactly what I want, right?
Exactly.
And then it sets you up as the expert in that niche. So anyone who's a car detailer who wants SEO, right? If you do SEO for car detailers, you're the expert in that space. Did you also then find that the second piece is you now have expertise in how to market that exact type of business?
Yeah. So then go bouncing off what we just said, like the marketing. So I use a prior experience from everything, working with detailers, working as myself, and then working. Actually, my first paying client was a dentist. So that's when I started out with broad and everything. So it all comes together from being a business owner, doing my own marketing as a detailer business owner, bringing it all together, and then working with the detailing business themselves, because I know what works, of course, because I was one. And then I also like to go a little bit deeper with them, because I don't have a cookie cutter plan, which I think for an agency who's watching this, don't have a cookie cutter plan when it comes to every business. Because even though they're in the same niche, they're not the same businesses. So you have to work a different plan for each business.
Mm-hmm. So with that plan, what are the services that you're finding are working the best for that? Assuming it's more of a local business type model. Is it SEO? Is it Google My Business? What sort of solution? Is it website, social? Is it a bit of all of that? But what are the main sort of solutions that you're offering?
It depends on what their budget level with everything, because not everyone has the budget to go through $1,000 out at Facebook and Google ads right away. So if I can help them at the lower level with email marketing and Google My Business, get them showing up on the map a little more Google, then that's what I'm gonna do to help out. Because not everyone has, like I said, like the budget to start out right away. So I'm trying to help out the community best I can, whether it's just coaching now how to tell them to do things, sending them links, trying to point them in the right direction. So there's different levels to it, but I try to help out best I can.
Yeah.
Cater to as many people as I can.
Yeah, sure. So you're really a full service digital offering in essence?
Yeah, I just don't do anything with revolving around websites. So I try not to spread myself too thin, because I have a belief where like I try to really narrow down and barrel down on Facebook and Google ads. Like I want to be the best in the industry when it comes to those things. And then any minute I spend trying to learn something else, I know it's a minute I can spend trying to better myself on Facebook and Google ads. So that's my primary focus, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So it's really a paid advertising model?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. How have you found the iOS 14 shift that everybody's up in arms about and having challenges with lately? It's pretty interesting just to sort of see how agencies that are in that paid model, how their tracking's falling off. How are you saying is that become an issue for you, or are you sort of able to? Have you adapted and found ways to solve that problem?
Yeah, we definitely adapted a little bit, but it did throw a big wrench into the whole mix with everything, because it's hard. It hurts the interest targeting. It hurts the retargeting a little bit on Facebook. So I often encourage a little more budget put towards Google or Google ads. So that way you can diversify our portfolio, if you want to say, between the advertising platforms, instead of putting more emphasis on Facebook, which we used to do. So having a balance between the two, so that way if Facebook falls behind a little more, we can adapt a little bit like that.
So when you're doing paid campaigns, are you integrating back in? I say you don't build or sort of focus on the dev side of websites, but are you building back into SEO sort of strategy or landing pages, that sort of thing? What part of that you're usually just running the ad campaigns back to something that's already created in terms of landing pages, or are you helping kind of define the strategy around where you're sending the traffic to? Are you working on that asset as well?
Yeah, so what I do create the landing pages. So we have all the ads running to the landing pages. That way we can, of course, acquire the leads easier, track the leads easier. What I did before was I sent people to the web page, and then if they have it set up right where they can see where people came from, then that works. But most oftentimes, I found that these business owners don't really understand the technical aspects of it, and I don't blame them, because I'm not very tech savvy, even though I'm in the tech field, which is kind of counterintuitive, but sometimes it works out that way. So I create these landing pages for them to run the ads to them. So that's what I do.
Okay, and say you're not tech savvy, but how? So have you? This is all self-taught essentially. Have you just sort of worked out? You say you want to become an expert in PPC and paid ads for Google and Google and Facebook. Is that all self-taught? Have you just sort of picked up programs? Are you just learning how to do this yourself? How have you developed that skill set?
So I do have minor experience. I'm going to use minor as a really good word for that one, experience in doing this prior, because I've always done a little bit here and there years back. But through the college years, when I was trying to figure out my next step in life, I kind of like explored a little bit of the paid advertising world a little bit and seeing what can happen with that. So over, not just in college, I went to college for business management, not exactly related to anything social media marketing or paid advertisement wise, but I've always tried to pay attention to these kind of things and pick up on skills that I can learn. But most of everything I've learned is self-taught. I think my YouTube university, it was a little more helpful towards me than the college degree. And I think a lot of people can agree with that, because a little more hands-on, you can learn relevant skills that you need to learn. But most of my things I have is self-taught, stuff I have learned over the detailing business, what ads work, what ads don't work. So it's a lot of it's experience and self-taught.
Yeah. So in terms of detailing and card details, what is the stuff that, where do they get caught up? What's the biggest challenge that they have, and sort of how do you fix that? Is there a specific way that they need to talk to their audiences? Is it about coupons or value or offer? What is it that really works in that service-based business, particularly around card detailing?
So it's kind of interesting because everyone has a vehicle, right? So the way it needs to be conveyed is there needs to be a way you can tell your value to the audiences. Detailing business owners, a lot of them are hobbyists, and then the ones that are business owners understand the whole sales process, nurturing leads, capturing new ones, and the whole thing, bringing them from a lead into a customer. So the biggest issue, is trying to find a way they can communicate to new prospects and get them into their shop. So the way I do that is, of course, copywriting is a must. You must be able to say and show your value and why you need to come to them.
So, I mean, copywriting is a pretty significant skill in itself. Again, is that largely self-taught? Have you done, understanding copywriting is an art form, right? To how you actually structure a post, how you structure content, how you write, and how you write for different businesses, right? Because they all have different personality and different tonality. How have you found that? Is that self-taught again, or is that sort of just a natural skill that you had, that communication ability?
It's a mixture of both. I think it's 50-50. I've always been a good writer throughout school, and I've always liked writing, writing essays and, so on and so forth, and business writing as well. But when it comes to writing, copywriting is different than regular writing, as we know. So I love the science of copywriting, because it's really the science of capturing people's attentions and manipulating their mind, capturing their attention, manipulating their attention in order to get them to do something in action, whether it's, purchase now, give them a call, take some where action may be. So I love the science behind it, and I've done a whole bunch of studies and read a whole bunch of studies about, what good copywriting is, headlines, the science of the human mind, psychology, and everything like that. So that's kind of really, I really love copywriting more than anything, just writing out copy on landing pages, ads, and websites when applicable.
Yeah, certainly a science and an art to writing copy. How do you see the distinction between Facebook and Google? They're similar, but they're sort of they're quite distinct in, if you look at those, the buying cycle, buying stages, where someone's coming to Google, they're trying to work out how to do something. They're much more in a search mode. They might be more ready to buy than someone who's just browsing their Facebook feed and an ad pops up that's relevant to an interest, but may not specifically be looking at it. How do you work both sides? You had one client, are you doing to capture different parts of the audience, or are you focusing more directly on direct response on Google, or again, depends on the client, I guess, but do you find that balance between more brand sort of stuff that you might do on Facebook and real targeted direct response on Google?
Yeah, exactly. So on Google, we like to do, it's easier, of course, we know it's intent marketing. So these people are going and searching on Google for these services. So the goal with Google Ads is to be able to, hey, this is our shop, this is why you should come to us. So you have better results, better quality leads that way. Facebook's, as you know, is a little different. It's interruptive marketing. So people are scrolling. People are not looking for detailing services on Facebook. They're scrolling, passing time. Maybe they're looking for Aunt Becky's little kid on the Facebook timeline or something like that. So you have to get their attention somehow, get them stopped in their tracks. So that's a little bit different in terms of that. So we have a couple of cold ads like to do. And a lot of big thing is the retargeting ads, using the pixel, using retargeting engagements, which I find is working pretty good with new iOS update, not relying on the pixel so much, but relying on the post engagements, ad engagements. That's been working very well. So with Google, you're going to have better closing rates on these leads that I'm finding. And with Facebook, you're going to have lower quality leads, but it's helping getting the business out there because you're showing your business to people who really weren't thinking about using your service, but now they're considering it.
Mm. Yeah. It's an important distinction to understand. Having sort of both pieces is going to be great for your clients. Mm-hmm. Is your business just you? Do you have a team? Do you have support, or is it a one-man show for now? And second part of that question, do you have plans to grow and scale in terms of team and sort of growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now it's just me. I'm getting to my limit in terms of what I can handle right now.
Yeah.
I've really exponentially grown this year. Last year I've been up and down, but it's been continuing growth every month for me this year. So I am looking to hire out within a month or so from now, because it's getting to the point where now I'm very good with time management and everything. But when it comes to being able to effectively communicate with everybody and effectively perform results, I'm just getting a little bit thin on that end. And then the big part for me, which I think what separates me from a lot of other agencies, is my communication. That's my main priority with everything. So actually I have clients that have my phone number. So they have a question, they can shoot me a text. On Messenger, they can shoot me a message anytime. I always try to answer within an hour, because another thing I noticed is when I started my marketing agency, I noticed there's a big gap between communication wise, sending an email to a marketing agency and getting a response back 2 days later. And then as a business owner, that's your business. That's important. That's your baby. You need that attention as soon as you can. So it is, affecting me a little bit in terms of time getting back to these people. But my current average client retention is almost a year long. So I think for me, that's super important to keep up with your clients and then talk to them as much as you can. If they have any questions or updates, or if they want something changed, I think it's important to get done as soon as possible and make them happy. Everyone is happy, but I think more people should focus on communication more.
Yeah, it's important to have sort of a communication plan for the agency, whether that is if you have that capability to be super responsive whilst maintaining your productivity, because you don't want to be in the middle of working and then distracted to a call and then back and then into the Slack channel, then back to work and back. That's really disruptive for just your workflow as the person on the tools doing the work. So having that structure, but at least saying, if you send me a message, I'm going to get back to you within 2 hours, and it's going to be between 9 to 11, at lunchtime, at 3 to 4. So at least they have a structure of, okay, I know I'm going to get responded to, and then having that structure. But communicate. If you stop hearing from you, they get very concerned.
So, I still have a structure to it where I will work when I need to. I don't know if I'm butchering your name, but I think it's the Pomodoro or something along those lines.
Method where you work.
Pomodoro. Okay, so I did say it right. So then it's 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes on working folks I need to do, and then my break time is responding to people who have reached out to me. So they're not intentionally interrupting me. I have my phone on silent, doing what I need to do, focusing on any work I need to do. But yet I still have that break time I use to respond to them, reach out to them. And if they need something done immediately, I'll have to finish what I need to do and get to that when I need to. So I always try to keep a good time structure to everything, so that way I'm not interrupted throughout my day. So if I respond to every message right away, as you know, you're not going to get too productive there.
Yeah, it's going to decimate your performance. It's going to destroy your productivity when you're just being pulled away from the task every time. So the Pomodoro is a great basic model of just, you got 45 minutes, 30 minutes, you're getting the work done, and then you can respond. And if a client can't wait an hour or 30 minutes for a response, then there's you need to set that relationship up in a better way. Perhaps you need to set that expectation that this is how I operate, and I operate this way for your benefit, right? I work in 30-minute, 45-minute, 90-minute block, be effective and get your stuff churned out quicker than replying to you. That's more important than responding to you. I think having those conversations earlier can help with that. It helps set up how that communication is going to be handled. But massively important is maintaining that, having some sort of a structure. to your communication and maintaining that communication. Like you said, it seems to be working well, that you've got good retention for clients. So like a year-long retention is a good lifetime value for your customer base.
Absolutely.
So bringing in team, obviously, do you on the account sales marketing side of things for your business, and then bring in kind of specialists and experts to do the campaigns and run and do the sort of on the tools stuff? Where would you see yourself if you grew your agency out and you had 4 or 5 employees and a few more clients? Where would you ideally like to be positioned within your own agency?
I think ideally I'd like to still have access to all the accounts, of course, but I think my next hire is definitely going to have to be someone to help me with the ad accounts, because for me, performance is the most important aspects of running the agency. Your clients want to see performance there. They don't want to see results and everything. So being able to have another person to take that load off you and take that stress off you, because as one man army, you're wearing all the hats in your business. You're doing the outreach, you're doing the sales, you're doing all the communication, you're running all the accounts, and then you're doing all the meetings in between with business and anything that comes with it too. So I think someone taking off the, helping with the ad accounts a little more would be definitely helpful for me. Down the line, I think I want to have definitely a couple employees, whether it's both Google and Facebook or one or the other, but take a little load off my hands to help me out a little bit so I can focus on things that drive my agency forward.
Yeah, great. And again, it's good to be really clear on what you are great at and what preferring to set up your agency so you can operate that way. And it's it's going to be the cleanest, clearest way for you to scale and grow is to actually understand, well, I'm great at sales, or I'm great at the comms and the client management. That's what I want to do, and I'm going to backfill everything else with other people and hire people that are better than you at doing that thing. That's the sort of the smart way to scale is be the dumbest person in the room when it comes to the stuff that you're handing off and delegating. So do you imagine that you'd have? I know the world's a bit wacky at the moment. Do you think of a team? You're sort of looking at sort of an office one day. How do you picture that future rolling out for yourself in terms of team, sort of remote VAs, or building an agency in an office with the team working together? How do you envision that for yourself?
I think we're still mostly virtual with everything, because it's hard to bring in talent. If you had someone, so I'm located in New Jersey. If I had someone in California that I'm more than willing to hire, it's hard to get them to move from there to a central location. Or if maybe they're looking in England or somewhere else, it's hard to get them to move. So I think virtual is still the best way to have access to talent without having to move them around.
Yeah. You get that amazing global talent pool.
Yeah, exactly. So you have access to global talent, like you said, without having to sacrifice anything. Because if I ran an office, as my personal belief, if you ran an office, you're forced to either cut off some of those potential great employees you could have, and then you might have to, it may take some convincing to get someone to move over, or you just look in your own area. So I don't like to, keep myself short. So I like to be able to have access to whoever is best fit.
Yeah, that is the benefit of the virtual world and the connected world, is you can get the best talent from all over the planet, as long as the time zones kind of align. You sort of get that best of breed from wherever they are. So really, really interesting times for how you can actually grow out a very talented team. Thank you so much for dropping by, Hunter. If people want to find out more about you, get connected, learn more about what you do, where are the best places for them to come and find you?
I live on Facebook, so you can hit me up there anytime.
Okay, that's the platform. That's where you do most of your.
Yep, I'm always on there.
Amazing. I'll drop those links in the show notes so the folks at home can drop on and click those and come and get connected with you. Love chatting to you today, mate. Sounds like you've got a great little business going, and I hope to see that growth, and you sort of start to shift yourself up in the business and sort of backfill and start to bring that team and provide even in better and better results for your clients by bringing in that expertise to get deliver that ROI and sort of really help your clients grow their businesses and do what you love to do as well in your business, which is important because you want to enjoy what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks for swinging by. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us and tell us all about media and your fans and all the good stuff that you're doing. Appreciate you dropping by, and appreciate everyone for stopping by and checking out the episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.